Good morning and welcome. It is Wednesday, it's March the 20th, and it's Andrew here, and I'm on my own this morning. Happy spring equinox. Now, before we get started proper, as you can see, we're in a different place this morning. I'm in our Studio 1. Elaine is off for the next few days, so while she's off, I was kind of doing a few bits in the office, and it just occurred to me, most of you have probably never seen the inside of our main broadcast studio before. Some of you have, but most of you probably haven't. So, where Elaine and I would normally do the videos is in the room directly down there. It's through all that massive pane of glass and all that kind of crack. That's normally where we do, it's kind of our video suite, if you like. And where we are now is the main On Air 1 studio, which is where most of the shows are broadcast from. So ourselves, Francis Jones, Brendan Fuller, most of the music. In fact, all the talk programmes, news and sport are all controlled from this room, so it's the main studio. So before we start, I'm going to flip this around into the actual room, right? So that's the wall. So this is where we actually broadcast from. Now, this is handy because if I press the button here, what you probably don't realise is that Elaine and I actually stand while broadcasting the radio bit. We don't sit down, so that's now raised up to standing height. So, and this is basically where we do all the radio stuff from. It's quite cool, isn't it? It's all new and fancy and lovely and so on. So, that's the main, this is the main on-air studio. Hang on, I flip this around again. So this is the main On Air 1 studio, and this is where we do our show from every morning. It's handy because you can lean on it like a bar counter. So Elaine is off, so with that being said, I'll get through all the usual crack for you. Weather today is going to be fairly nice. It is technically the first day of spring. It's the spring equinox today for the Northern Hemisphere, so you've noticed it's a little bit brighter and a little bit drier this morning. All right, now the clocks will change next week, so that'll change back to being a little bit dark for a couple of weeks again, but still not a bad morning out there, and we're seeing temperatures of roughly, what is it today, 14 degrees, possibly 15 in places, but generally dry with some sunny spells expected as well. All right. Now, papers this morning. The Times Ireland edition on the front page. Brexit again. Stop kicking Brexit down the road, EU warns May. Tough stance as British Prime Minister pleads for extension is on the front page. There's also a picture of the European Council President, Jean-Claude Juncker, and Donald Tusk and Leo Varadkar on the front page there. And Sport Ireland seeks answers over Delaney check to FAI is also on their front page this morning. The Examiner then says rise in severe alcohol use, says experts, decrease in alcohol treatment figures, but severity of abuse rises. That's on the front page. And disco deaths, 2 arrested on charges of manslaughter in Cookstown in County Tyrone is also on the front page there this morning. In the Irish Independent then, they have that same story about Brexit. May's 24 hours to come up with Brexit plan or face EU crash out. So my understanding is the update on this is she's going to ask her Parliament for to vote on, well, she's going to ask Europe first, but then the Parliament to vote on 2 options. Short extension, long extension. We're 9 days out now from Brexit, and people tried to pick each other up. It just became a struggle. This is just, again, more of awful stories and quotes coming out of Cookstown and County Tyrone, where those 3 teenagers died. A young girl who is, her name is Ebony Johnson, she's 16. She's pictured on the front page of the Irish Independent wearing the Kerry jersey, actually, the Paul Galvin style Kerry jersey. Not the gold one, but the newer style. I'm not really sure. I thought it was a Kerry girl first, but she is from County Tyrone. She was one of the teenagers who's describing exactly what happened in detail on Sunday night, and it's just terrifying. The Mirror then, Greenvale hotel owner, it was one of the people who's been arrested after disco deaths at Cookstown and County Tyrone. The 2 people were arrested on suspicion of manslaughter, one of which was the hotel owner, Michael McElhatton. He's been arrested as well, and he's talking to the PSNI. And awful news as well overnight. A motorcyclist in his 40s tragically was killed in Cork after colliding with a car near Ringaskiddy. That also makes the Mirror online there this morning as well. Main top trends this morning. The Tonight Show on Virgin Media TV is trending. They discussed Brexit, Mary Lou MacDonald marching behind that sign in the Patrick's Day Parade in the States. And also the chairman of the Aquadome was on last night. Derry Girls is trending this morning. Tommy Tiernan is, one of the tweets I saw this morning said, Tommy Tiernan, what a sound dad. He didn't rat out his kids. So I didn't watch last night's episode. I'll see it today, I'd say. But yeah, Tommy Tiernan is excellent in it. Gary for Europe is trending this morning. Didn't know what this was, but I clicked on it. It's the Social Democrats have now decided one of their candidates for the European elections in Dublin A fellow by the name of Gary Gannon, he's a local councillor there. And Sport Ireland, the story mentioned there in some of the papers, is also trending this morning. They're investigating John Delaney and the story about the €100,000 cheque which he gave to the FAI. That's also trending this morning. What time are we at? It's handy actually being in here because I can see the time properly. We're good though. There's a few other quirky headlines which you might be interested in this morning. Music fans have called out Janet Jackson for sneakily photoshopping a Glastonbury poster to give herself top billing ahead of the Killers. So like, you know the way these posters have, like, you know, the top billing, and then there's like all these different artists and smaller, you know, the smaller the artist or the smaller the stage, the smaller the writing. Well, she's been called out because she photoshopped the Glastonbury poster and she put herself as the lead act. Boring canteen food, long hours, incompetent bosses. These are among just some of the reasons why people quit their job. I have the full 40 of them there. One of which, by the way, somebody quit their job because their boss refused to let them bring their pet into work. I love my dog. She is a little child of mine. And we have brought her in here before for, you know, bring your pet to work day. But your pet doesn't belong in the office. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so some of the reasons are a bit mad. And this is a brilliant story. An Irish woman has revealed how her boyfriend's fart set off the carbon monoxide alarm. And I have the full details here. I saw this last night. I thought it was brilliant. So her name is Ziz O'Byrne. She said on Twitter that the fire brigade called out in Dublin. Gas Networks Ireland, were sent out to an apartment to investigate a carbon monoxide incident. And it turns out that her boyfriend had left off such a smelly fart that it actually did set off the carbon monoxide alarm. Twitter went into a frenzy and people thought this was absolutely brilliant. She did have to reassure people, by the way, that this is 100% true. This isn't fake. Yeah. Emergency services had to be called in as well, just to double check that everything was okay. As you can imagine, like, the shame of it. After inspection of the apartment block, there was no sign of any carbon monoxide, so we'll never know the toot. No, they knew full well what it was. But it was, yeah, your man's fart, and they're in Gas Networks Ireland. That's also one of the stories which I spotted online last night. Now, coming up in the show this morning, lots going on actually. So even though Lane is off, we're going to continue with Who's for Breakfast. We're up to 140 quid this morning. So we'll give you a chance to win that. That's on the way. Also, we are going to give the winner of the bathroom makeover for the €1,000 prize last week a call back this morning. We were supposed to do it yesterday, but we were just awaiting the final list of qualifiers from last week. I just didn't have their details yesterday. So we're going to give that person a call back on the show this morning and tell them that they've won a €1,000 bathroom makeover with compliments of Boyles of Kilorglet. So that's coming up as well. I think that's pretty much it. I have to go and stick the kettle on and get a coffee ready. Going to go start the show now in a second. So enjoy your Wednesday, whatever you get up to. You can comment here as per usual if you want to give me a chat or have a chat with me and give me a shout, and I'll give you a shout out on the radio. And you can WhatsApp as well. You can use the voicemail there if you'd like. 083 300 3300. Right, I'm going to go get coffee and I'll talk to you in a minute.